So the traditional retirement plan is to work about 40 to 45 years, retire around 65 to 67, and hopefully enjoy a few good years of freedom if your health allows it. But what if there's another way, a faster way? That's what the FIRE movement tries to address, the acronym for Financial Independence, Retire Early. It's about building a life where your time is your own and doing it sooner than the traditional path. Perhaps you've been intrigued by the FIRE movement, but heard it demands an extreme frugal lifestyle. But there are different types of FIRE for different types of lifestyles. So I'm going to walk you through 7 different versions of FIRE to help you find the one that best fits your goals. And even if you don't go all in on any of them, the core ideas behind FIRE can still help you reach financial independence a lot sooner than you might think. One of the more extreme versions of FIRE is called lean FIRE. This path is typically for people who are comfortable living a minimalist lifestyle and sticking to a very strict budget, both now and in retirement. Lean FIRE is all about frugality. The goal is to cut expenses down to the bare essentials so you can save and invest a large portion of your income, sometimes 40%, 60%, or even 70%. And by living on less, you also reduce how much you'll need to retire. Here's a quick example. For every $100 a month that you can shave off your living expenses, you need about $30,000 less saved for retirement. That's based on the 4% rule. $100 a month is $1,200 a year, and 4% of $30,000 gives you that exact amount. People pursuing lean FIRE often aim to live on a very low income, like $40,000 or less per year. It takes a lot of discipline and sacrifice, and that's not for everyone. But for some, the appeal is simplicity, less stuff, less stress, and the ability to retire much earlier. The trade-off, of course, is having very little room for extras beyond the bare essentials. People in the FIRE movement usually figure out their target number using the 4% rule. Basically, it means you can safely withdraw about 4% of your portfolio each year in retirement. To figure out your number, you take your expected annual expenses and multiply by 25. So if somebody thinks that they can live on $30,000 a year, maybe in a lean FIRE lifestyle, they need to save around $750,000. And from there, they adjust their withdrawals each year to keep up with inflation. Now, let's say somebody is taking home $60,000 a year and saving 50% of that. If their investments earn 6% rate of return after adjusting for inflation, they could realistically reach financial independence in a little less than 16 years, and that's even starting from zero. Now, notice that it's really your savings rate and what you get used to living on that determines when you can retire, not necessarily your income. Take someone who takes home $120,000 and saves 50% or $60,000 per year. They would also reach their retirement number in about 15 years. But if that same person making $120,000 lives on just $40,000 and saves $80,000 a year, they could start from zero and hit their retirement number in just 9.8 years. Okay, so next up is one called Coast FIRE, for people who want the peace of mind that comes from doing the heavy lifting early. The idea is to save and invest aggressively in your 20s and 30s, then simply coast towards a more traditional retirement age without really needing to contribute anything more. Once you've built up a big enough nest egg, compound growth does the rest. And at that point, you can scale back to part-time work or maybe switch to a lower stress job that you really enjoy, knowing that your future is already on track. You only need to earn enough to cover your living expenses because you no longer need to save and invest. And since they continue to work, they will also have more Social Security to help them in retirement. Let's say you want to be able to live on $60,000 a year in retirement, not including any Social Security you might get. Using the 4% rule, your target number would be $1.5 million. Now, assuming just a 6% rate of return again, adjusting for inflation, if somebody had a $200,000 saved up by age 30, they could stop investing entirely. And by age 65, compound growth alone would bring that balance up to $1.5 million. Most people pursuing FIRE aren't necessarily trying to retire early. They just want to make sure they're financially set for retirement. And then after that, they can focus more on enjoying life along the way. So let me take a quick moment here to say I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. Maybe leave me some comments after the video. It really does help the algorithm and supports the channel, so thank you. Okay, so now on the opposite end of the spectrum from lean FIRE, there's what's called fat FIRE. Fat FIRE is geared towards those who want a higher end lifestyle in retirement. Think lavish vacations, dining out often, or shopping for premium products. It's all about maintaining a high standard of living without having to cut back once you've stopped working. Because it allows for a high level of spending in retirement, it's also one of the most challenging FIRE paths and is typically best suited for high-income earners because it requires a high net worth. But if somebody starts investing early, many middle-income earners can possibly reach fat FIRE as well. Maybe somebody wants to be able to live on $15,000 per month in retirement, in addition to any Social Security they may have. That's $180,000 per year, so you would need a net worth of around $4.5 million. For this example, let's say somebody started saving at the age of 25 and wanted to retire at age 62. After adjusting for inflation, so using only a 6% rate of return again, they would need to save close to $2,900 per month. If somebody makes $150,000 per year though, that's only about 23% of their income. Now, these examples use a 6% rate of return, which is adjusted for inflation. So essentially, it's in today's dollars. Historically, the S&P 500 has averaged about a 10% compounded annual growth rate over long periods of time, while inflation has averaged around 3%. That results in a real return of about 7%. But I'm only using 6% to be a bit more conservative. Investing that $2,900 per month over the same period at 10% rate of return would grow into over $12 million. But that figure doesn't account for any increase in the cost of living. By adjusting for inflation, we're showing that what it would have to take to maintain the same standard of living in retirement as somebody wanting to live on $15,000 per month today. So next up is one called Barista FIRE. It's a very flexible hybrid path to financial independence. You still have to save and invest with the 4% rule in mind, but the goal isn't full retirement right away. Instead, you build enough savings to cover much of your retirement needs, while relying on part-time work or a lower stress job to handle some of your living expenses. This approach offers more immediate freedom, like stepping away from a high-pressure job without needing to fully fund your retirement account. It's ideal for those who want more control over their time now, rather than wait decades. The core idea is choice and freedom, to leave a toxic workplace maybe, pursue a passion, or find more meaningful work elsewhere. Barista FIRE also gives you a chance to test out early partial retirement and experience a slower-paced lifestyle. For example, let's say you wanted to live on $60,000 per year in retirement, not including your Social Security again. You'd need $1.5 million using the 4% withdrawal rule. But if you earned $25,000 from a part-time job you enjoyed, you'd only need about $875,000. A relatively small income can significantly reduce the amount you need to retire, allowing you to semi-retire years earlier than most people. Then there's also one called slow FIRE. This approach closely resembles the traditional, well-rounded retirement plan. It takes more of a gradual path to financial independence by balancing saving and investing with enjoying life in the present. The goal is to maintain a healthy work-life balance throughout your entire career. Retirement comes later, but the journey allows for more flexibility with an emphasis on making the path to retirement as meaningful as the destination. Slow FIRE is all about being intentional, focusing on the process and the people around you, and the experiences you'll have along the way, while still planning for the future. Instead of being really aggressive with your savings, you might simply increase your contributions by just a few percentage points to shave off years from your retirement timeline. For example, let's say somebody starts saving at the age of 27, earns $90,000 per year, and saves 12% of their salary, or $900 per month. By age 67, using the inflation-adjusted 6% rate of return, they would accumulate just over $1.7 million. But if they increase their savings rate to 18%, they could reach the same amount roughly 6 years earlier. Then there's a version known as Geo FIRE. The idea is simple. The lower your cost of living, the further your money stretches. By moving to a less expensive city, state, or maybe even country, you might be able to enjoy a fat FIRE lifestyle on a lean FIRE budget. There's two main ways to approach Geo FIRE. First, if you have the option to work remotely, you can accelerate your retirement savings by relocating to a more affordable area while continuing to earn a high salary. For example, a San Francisco or New York City income while living in a lower cost region. A 2-bedroom apartment that rents for $4,000 a month in San Francisco might only cost $2,000 elsewhere in the U.S., or as little as $300 in a place like Thailand. The second approach is to stay where you are while you're in your working years and move after you retire. You don't have to go overseas. Even relocating from areas like California and New York to a more affordable area or state like Texas or maybe Tennessee could greatly reduce your expenses. And as a bonus, some of those states don't even have state income tax, helping your retirement dollars go even further. Then there's one called FIRO, Financial Independence Retire Occasionally. This approach focuses on gaining enough financial independence to take extended breaks from work rather than retiring permanently. It offers more flexibility and freedom without requiring the full exit from the workforce. FIRO is a great fit for those who want to take time off, like maybe travel the world for a few years, while still keeping the option to return to work when they choose. It's about strategic breaks, flexibility, and periodic rejuvenation, not a one-time permanent retirement. The general path involves saving and investing aggressively for a period of maybe 3 to 10 years, until you've accumulated enough to step away from work for 6 months or a few years. During these breaks, people might travel, explore passion projects, volunteer, or focus on their family. Then when they're ready, they return to work, often in a new role or maybe even a new career. This cycle is sometimes repeated, allowing them to enjoy several mini retirements over the course of their life. Now, this video is the first in a 2-part series. In my next video, I'm going to address the psychology behind each type of FIRE, the pros and cons, and the best accounts to use for investments, and some of the often overlooked risks and challenges you're going to face. I think you'll find it really interesting and helpful. Once it's out, I'll have it linked in the description below. Until then, I hope you hit subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Hit the like button, and thank you for watching.